Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I will be going over my thought process for creating these two pages in my art journal. So I use my Dark Academia book from Ciao Bella, and I had pre-cut these two images that I knew I wanted to use, and I'm pulling out a color palette from Catherine Pooler Inks based on the florals that I have. And so I picked out Serene, Crushed Velvet, and Verbena. And now I'm just going to lay down all the ink. I pull out a piece of copy paper to lay in between the page before it and the ones that I'm working on. And I am using one of my favorite brushes. They're from Trinity Stamps, and they are so soft and lay down a really nice, soft blend when you're ink blending. And here I am using first my Serene, and I will use that on both sides. And it does not have to be smooth. So you see here, there's all kinds of white and darker shades all in there. And I decided that it would be easier if I folded my copy paper, and that allowed me to work around it much easier. So fold your copy paper. And I want a spooky background, so a lot of like dark, kind of eerie effect. So then I lay down my crushed velvet, and I want that around the top and kind of around the edges, so it'll leave the lighter color towards the center. And I sped this up quite a bit. And now I'm checking my layout, and I was kind of bound and determined that I wanted the floral to go behind that ghost. And I pull out this big um, haunted house, excuse me, from Colorado Craft Company, and it is fabulous haunted house. And my problem is my book will not fit in my Misty, so I got my Sizzix ink platform and pulled out. With this, I'll just tell you here, with a really large stamp, you don't want to yank it, so I kind of rolled it off. And here I am trying to figure out how I'm going to do this and get a good image, because it's hard to, with the way that the art journal is, it's kind of wonky. So there's spots that are higher on my previous pages and lower, so I'm not going to get a good image. And I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I was trying to make sure I get all of the haunted house that I have placed on there, and you see it did not work. So I'm like trying to line it up again because I didn't secure my art journal down. And I'm like, oh my God, this isn't going to work. And you can see I got like a double kind of blurry image. So here I am trying to figure it out, because I'm like, how am I going to work around this and go with it? So my mind is like, nah, because, I like a really nice, crisp image. And I thought, you know what? This is going to be like a phantom haunted house. So I take my black soot and these mini tiny foam blenders that are domed. And I like, okay, well, I'm just going to, wherever there's an area that is missing or lighter, I'm just going to kind of put the black soot in there to make it seem like it's a spookier vibe kind of thing, mist or darkness or whatnot, and kind of have that as a, not a focal point, but in the background. Um, so it seems like it's a, a almost a mirage type of thing. Like, do you see the spooky house or do you not? Like the mist is gonna go, or or the fog is gonna go, and then it's not gonna be there, kind of thing. And so then I pull in a shader. This is a Sidekick blender brush from Trinity Stamps, and it is brand new. They are excellent. Um, the brush edge words is on an angle, so it's cut on an angle. The brush, so it's really nice to get the shading in there well. So here I am adding some serene to the black to pull in the purple vibe, and I'm adding it along the edges, all along the edge of that haunted house where I um, ink blended the black. And then I'm adding a little more black, and I go back and forth through my colors to deepen them, and just to get the layer smooth until I am satisfied with how I have colored them. Here I am just looking every time, see how it looks, see if I'm happy with it. And you can see here that it's kind of um looking better. I'm more satisfied with it. But I couldn't just dis discount this page because like it's in my art journal. So I kind of just had to make it work and let go of the fact that it was like a double stamped image. And which is it's really hard for me because I usually work with more of a clean and simple design, and but I am really channeling my inner art journaling of the more is more, and just adding in there. So I usually do a lot of reels, but someone had asked me before to do more of a long process video that they would like to see me explain, or hear me explain as I do it. So when I do an art journal, when I work in my art journal page, it's usually takes me a while because first I have to get the inspiration. I first work on, what I am thinking my art journal pages are going to be. And this is spooky season, and I love, love, love creating during spooky season. It's my favorite. I am all in with Halloween. And since I was a kid, I've always been interested in ghosts and the mysterious and spooky vibes, not horror, but more just mysterious and spooky and altogether ooky. But no, I'm just kidding. I couldn't resist. But no, just, more ghost type things. So I'm laying down. It was a little too light, and I want more of a dark vibe for this, with the kind of lighter area around the ghost. So I am going to next do some more ink blending. but and then yeah, all around the edges. And here I am trying it out again. I had fussy cut my ghost, and then all around the edges where it's kind of lighter, I just want to blend around with some of that serene color just to make it, him not stand out too much, but more look like he is in the scene. Do his little fingers. Those were hard to ink fussy cut around. So I'm pulling out some of my textures. This one is from, I think it was Paper Artsy. And these are just like texture backgrounds that are perfect for this. This is like a scripty thing. So I am like freehanding and just kind of adding all. I get inspired a lot by Vicky Pep, whatever. I am going to butcher her last name, but Vicky P inspires me a lot. And this one, I love this texture stamp. It's by Uniquely Creative, and they're out of Australia. So there we go. I'm just going to, and it's got sort of like a florally feel to it and some splattery stuff. And so I just kind of added all all around, wherever I think I want some. No rhyme, no reason. And I'm going to pull out some more images for the left-hand side of the page because I'm thinking I figured out the right, the ghost and the florals. And so now I'm picking these, I don't know what these are, if they're bugs or birds or bats or whatnot, but they're like birds with antennae or something like that. It's very strange. Or butterflies, who knows? And then I pull out a small moon and that other bird-like creature. And then I am going to fussy cut those. And for some reason, I have a hard time cutting a circle. It's always wonky. And I ink blend around the edge. Yeah, see, I'm fixing it a little bit where I went wrong. But and these ones were harder to cut because of those antennae. And at first I thought, okay, let me fuzzy cut the antennae so that they're in there. And then I just cut one off by mistake, which is very easy to do. So I just decided, nope, they are not going to have the antennae because I am stressing myself out trying to cut those around those. So I just like, never mind. And they go off with the antennae. So here I am gonna see, I'm still kind of, killing myself trying to get these antennae in there. And then it's like, whoops, no, forget it. There we go. And it got so much easier when I didn't stress about trying to get those antennae. I don't know what I was thinking. But. And then I ink blend the black around the wings and the fantail. And I am going to place these guys, and they look like they kind of blend in with the background a little too much, but in real life, they don't. They really just, kind of add that extra. And I cut out a cauldron as well. And I decide, no, the cauldron's going to go behind the ghost because it looks like with the way his hands are, and I guess maybe it's a phantom or, who knows. But, and phantom in French is ghost anyway, but phantom, I believe, from going back for my education. But, and then I'm adding some purple around those flowers, bouquet. And I cut out some books and you can see where I had added the texture on the right behind the ghost. I'm like, okay, well, the flowers no longer go on the right side. They're going to go on the left. I'm going to put some books there. I'm going to now glue on these floral arrangement. And when I fussy cut it, there was still a lot of white space around the edges of that floral. So that's why I used the serene purple to kind of make it those white or edges and things like that blend in more. And then I'm just fixing how I want that floral to be positioned. And then with the book. So a lot of my process is, I'll be, blending the back. And then a lot of like I say, my process is figuring out what I want and what images I want to use where. So I go back and forth. Like I put them on. I think I look at it, look at the composition. If it's pleasing, then I decide, okay, yeah, I want it there. If it doesn't, then I move on and either go for another image or leave it off altogether. And I love this hourglass. I was kind of thinking I wanted like a clock, or there was also a really cool staff in that book that had an orb on the top, but the scale, and I wanted it in his kind of the Phantom's left hand, but the scale of it was just off. So it didn't look natural that he would be naturally holding it. It was just too big. And so then I'm adding these birds on. That's what I'm going with. They're birds now, not weird butterfly things. And I use my Bearly Arts glue because this is my go-to glue. I love this glue. It's great. It dries quickly it dries clear. So, you know, it's quick, but you can still reposition it. So it's not that quick. It's still repositionable. And so I am looking at the composition again of how I want my ghosty and my cauldron. And again, I'm adding a little bit more shading around the edges of his. They're either, I think they're wisps of no fog or mystery, wisps of mystery. And I'm just getting that shading done to my liking. And again, I'm using that. Looks dark, but it's the serene color. And what's nice about Catherine Pooler inks is they'll go on darker and then they'll pull back and they'll lighten up a little bit. But they're still super saturated. The coloring on camera doesn't reflect how the coloring in real life. I mean, it's purple here. You can see it's a little bit purple, but it looks a little more gray purple, but it's a little bit more purpley purple, which is nice. It was the effect that I wanted to use. And I did the shading on the cauldron as well. And now I'm placing the cauldron behind the ghost, and I glue that down to make it kind of one piece. So now the cauldron and the ghost are connected so that I can position them how I like it. And I think I don't know, I'm just fixing something that I did not like. Maybe he had too much paper around his finger or something. And I adhere them on. And sometimes too, you'll see me, like if I have a big blob that I don't want to show up, because if you have too big of a blob of glue on the back, then you could get a blob when you adhere it. You could get a little bump. So sometimes I use my finger to smooth it down a little bit so that, you know, it doesn't affect the look of it. And so now things are permanent, people. I finally committed. And here we go. Now I'm looking at it and I'm still thinking, okay, we need a little something extra here. But first, I guess I'm thinking we need more shading. I was thinking we're coming in with some splatter, which I will do. And the splatter that I use, I love this. It is called, it's from Lindy's Gang. And well, right now I'm just ink blending. This is the Serene again that I'm going in with. And I will end up doing some splatter. And I am going to use one of my favorite splatters to get a little shimmer, a little bit of magic um, on it. And all it is like a really shimmery spray. And it is called Fairy. Oh, and I have to cut off the excess that hangs over the edges. And you can see here, this is the back. This is a previous art page that I did. And if you want to see how I did this one, this chess piece kind of gaming one, it is, you can go, it is a short. So you can see how I created it. Go to my shorts, and it's in there. So I cut it off the excess, and now I'm going to blend where I cut because it'll leave a white edge. So I want to ink blend in around that around that edge that I just cut off, and make it all kind of nice and smooth, inky smooth. And getting back to the splatter that I use, I love to use Lindy's Fairy Fluff because, and especially this time of year, it works for Halloween if you want some magicness added to your Halloween, or some sparkle, or even can look like you know, like a ghostly orb type stuff. But it's also great for Christmas if you want to add some extra shimmer, extra sparkle, extra shine. But I'm really going in, adding a lot of shading. I got my black soot. This is Distress ink. I have the big Distress oxide inks, but I have Distress ink in minis. I don't there's the Lindy's. You have to shake it, shake, shake it really, really a lot to, make sure that the shimmer is all down. And I don't want to spray it. I want to have more splatter. So I'm dunking my paintbrush in, and then I'm just I covered the ghost, and I'm just kind of splattering it in. And I'm getting some fine, because if you sprayed it from the spray bottle, it goes out like in a mist, and it'll mist everything. But I wanted some real splatters, and so I'm just dunking my paintbrush right into the container. I took off the spray lid and covering up. I don't cover up the haunted house because that's fine. I want it to seem like this is like maybe will o' the wisps or orbs or something magical. Could be from the cauldron or whatnot. So it's just adding to my Halloween spooky vibe. And a lot of the shimmer you can't see because it's really, really fine, so it doesn't show up on the camera. But you can see the bigger spleech of that. And these will dry fast as well. Here I am getting it. I just want it all over everything, but not the ghost for some reason. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just don't want the ghost to have. I want that ghost covered. So there we go. And you can see it if it hits if the light hits it, you can see some of that shimmer, some of that shine. It's really beautiful. And then I cut another little, it's similar to the other two. It looks more bat-like, but I just wanted one other thing. And there you have it. It's done. I'm finished and I am loving it. I keep looking at it, and I just want to thank you for taking the time with me. And if you like it, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.